All right, good morning. Welcome to our unique devotion. I always exclude myself from that phrase when I say, welcome to your unique devotion. And it is yours, but really this is for me too. This is a way for me to get my thoughts out, maybe even mess them up, start to clarify my thinking, helps me to communicate and connect with God, which is really what you need in order to work through the day and be present in life. So, today is Colossians 1 verses 15 through 18. It's a sort of continuation of yesterday, but this section is very important and super profound for me. So, I'm actually going to read it twice. And the question is, in all things? So, as I read this, I'm going to read it kind of slow, maybe try and point something out, and then read it again and see if you can visualize things a little different. Try to visualize deeper what's going on here. And so if you need to read your own Bible and read over this a couple times today, try to go a little deeper with it in your mind, or just continue to keep listening to this video a couple of times, maybe come back to it later tonight and see if something triggers that happened throughout the day that changes your thoughts about this scripture. Just try to play around with this today. This is really important. So here is the scripture. He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For by him all things were created that are in heaven and that are on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created through him and for him. And he is before all things, and in him all things consist. And he is the head of the body and the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he may have the preeminence. So before I read this real quick one more time, the word all here is super important. And when I reread this, try to picture in your mind the idea. You can't picture all things. You can't picture every piece of particle of a universe or of a galaxy that's 10 million light years away. You can't picture all things. But put in your mind that what is surrounding you right now. For me, it's the table, the book, the Bible, my breakfast, my water, my stuff for work, my truck to get to work, my house, my wife, my cats, everything that surrounds me, all things. You can't exclude anything. And here's the beautiful part. That also includes you, every molecule and atom and part of your being, from the innermost to the outermost, every thought, every heartbeat, every breath, every blink of the eye. It all, think of all in that manner, from the tiniest to the furthest reaches of the universe. Now let me read this again. He is the image of the invisible God. So all things includes invisible. Anything that you can't see. Wrap that around your brain a little. The first over all creation. For by him all things were created that are in heaven and that are in earth. All things invisible, all things that are visible, whether thrones, whether dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created through him and for him. And he is before all things, and in him all things consist. And he is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he may have the preeminence. So, as you go through your day today, recognize, try to just take a one little tiny step a little deeper, that God is with you. And he's not just standing beside you. He's not somewhere else looking down, moving everything like puppets. He is as much outside of you in all things as he is a part of you and inside of you, and he wants to make a connection. He wants you to recognize that you can interact with him in a relationship, that you aren't a single entity all by your lonesome doing whatever you please, because all that is outside is going to continue to try to maneuver you and push you around, regardless of where you want to go or what you would like to do. Because life is messy, life is a struggle. But as we acknowledge and start to communicate with God in all things, everything that we do, everything that we say, everything that we think, life just starts to take on a different form. It's not necessarily 100%, I would say, better, because situations happen. Like I said, life is messy, but it is definitely a different tone to when things do happen to us that feel wrong. We're able to handle them and work through them in a different way. So again, I'm not going to read it again. I would love to just reread this and reread this and reread this over and over and over again for every single human on this planet until it just clicks what that word all means, what the depths of visible and invisible mean, taking that thought of all deeper. So I'm going to do that today. I feel like I've taken a couple steps in that deep realm, so I'm going to try to just make sure that I'm continuing to connect with God today and see the all factor. That's a good thing. I like that, the all factor. I probably should post that as a question. The all factor? Okay, so I hope that you do the same thing. I hope that this is helpful and brings you a little bit closer to God and your connection with him. And I hope that God gives you all the blessings that you deserve, and even more so, all the blessings that you don't deserve. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.